This video is sponsored by Nitrozme.com. Hey guys, what's up? I am Nikhil from dopemotions.com, and in this After Effects tutorial, we will create a very interesting title animation using a free After Effects plugin called Saber. It's very easy to create, and anyone who know how to use After Effects can create this cool title animation. Basically, it looks like some tubes, some light tubes animating out and revealing our title, which is absolutely amazing. So with that said, let's jump straight into After Effects and get started with the tutorial. Alright, so here we are in After Effects. Let's start by creating a new composition. I'm going to keep this 1920 by 1080, 30 fps and 10 seconds long. Let's call this render as our main render comp. Hit OK. Then I'm going to hit Control Y to create a new solid, which is going to be our background. I'm going to call this PG for background, keeping the background black. Hit OK. Let's create one more solid. Hit Control Y. And then I'm going to call this light underscore 01. Hit OK. Go into effects and preset and search for saber. Double click to apply that up. I can now position this accordingly the way I want. So I'm going to turn on the title action save. I'm going to move this one right over here. Or let's move this one right here and move the top on just like so. Now I need to make sure that everything is properly aligned up. So in order to do that, I'm going to make sure that this is set to 520 and this is set to 520 as well, so everything is properly lined up. And then I can just eyeball this holding shift. You can hold shift so that you can snap it like so and move this forward like so. That's fine. Maybe I need to set this to 500. I think no, I can also hit Control R to bring up the rulers and drag a guide like so. And then I can just drag the handle of the saber to this guide like that. So now we can see it's set at 538 by 538. Perfect. I'm gonna hit Control R and get rid of the guides as well as the title action save. So that is that. Now we can go ahead and animate this. So let's make some room right over here. I'm gonna go to 1 second. All right, let's create a keyframe on the core start and core end, and let's go to 2 second and 15 frames. And then actually I'm going to turn on the title action save, and then I'm going to go right here and double click to create a new rectangle. Let's go into rectangle properties, rectangle path 1. I'm going to unlink this, and let's bring down the height of this. I'm going to keep it somewhere around there. And now I can select the saber and select the saber effect, and then I'm going to drag this up like so around 215 should be fine, and this one to 215 as well. All right, and then I can duplicate this, hit Control D to duplicate it, and then move this one down like so. I'm going to move this one right over here to around 860, and let's set this to 860. Pretty good. I'm going to select both the layers, hit F4 to bring up the blending options and set this to screen. All right, and then I can change this color to something like a nice dark pink. Now you can see if I delete this shape, you can see the stroke is not looking proper. You can see if we animate this, it's looking a bit thick, and the reason is we need to turn off the motion blur. So I can go into the render setting and turn the motion blur off, and now it's going to look proper. All right, so we have our simple animation which looks pretty nice. Now we can go ahead and add that flicker to this, which is actually very easy. So I'm going to select this, hit T to bring down the opacity, and let's start from around 10 frames. I'm going to start from 0, create a keyframe, go a few frames forward, so 1 2 maybe. Let's set this to 50, go 1 2, set this to 10 maybe, go 1 2 by hitting page down. Let's set this to around 75, go 1 2, set this to 20, Go 1 2, let's set this to around 85. Go 1 2, set this to around 30. 1 2, and I'm going to set this to around let's set this to 75. Set this to 20, and finally set this to 100. So if I solo this up, you can see we get this really nice flicker and then it animates out. But I want that flicker to keep on flickering until it starts animating. So maybe around 1 second and 5 frames. So I can select all the keyframes. I'm going to hold Alt and drag this like so. So it keeps flickering until it starts. Pretty nice. Yeah, but I think it's looking pretty good. I think I want it to be a bit more fast. So I can hold Alt and drag this keyframes like so. So it starts from around 15 frames. Yes, that looks a bit too fast for me. So I'm gonna hold Alt again. Let's drag it to around 10 frames. And yeah, that looks better. Okay, so now I can just simply copy this keyframes. Oh, before that, I'm gonna make sure that I go to around 3 seconds, create a keyframe by hitting on this small icon, and then hold Alt and let's add a simple expression of loop out, open and close parentheses. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna keep on adding flicker in some section of the timeline. So that is what I'm going for. Looking pretty good. I can select these keyframes, hit Control C. I'll place my time indicator right over here at 10 frames. Select the light one, hit Control V. So now we have added the same flicker to this. I'm going to turn everything on. So we have something like this. Now, before I proceed further with this tutorial, I want to take a minute and talk about today's sponsor, Nitrozme.com. Now, for people who don't know Nitrozme, Nitrozme is a Power Elite Video Hive author, which is a pretty huge thing. And he have created some really amazing templates, and they also have their own website where you can go ahead and check out all of them. But especially they have created a section for free items which you can check it out and you can get an idea of the quality that they offer. So they have created some light wipe transition pack, VHS and glitch transitions, some sound effects pack, and seamless transitions for Premiere Pro. I have mentioned their link in the description below, so I definitely recommend you guys to go ahead and check it out. You can also check out their Video Hive profile. They have some really amazing content out there. So links to everything is mentioned in the description. So go ahead and check it out. Pretty nice. Now the way the light animates is a bit simple. So I'm gonna hit U so we can see all the keyframes. Let's select the core, start, and end keyframes of both the lights. Right click, go into keyframe assistant, easy ease or F9. Let's go into the graph editor. I'm gonna place my time indicator at the center and drag these points like so. So let's keep the influence of around 80% here and 80% on the right side as well, so somewhere on there. And now we have a very nice animation. So that is looking pretty good. Now one quick tip here is whenever you're working with glows, make sure you go into your project, hold Alt and click on the small button that you see right over here. So I'm gonna hold Alt and switch to 16 bits so we get rid of any kind of color bendings. I can also create a new adjustment layer, called this noise. Let's go into effects and preset and search for noise, and let's add a noise of around maybe 3%. That looks much better. Now let's create a reflection, kind of a floor. I have learned this technique from Andrew Kramer. He showed it in one of his tutorials on his channel, Video Copilot. So definitely you can check him out. It's a very cool technique for creating reflective flooring kind of a look to any kind of animation that you want. So basically what we will do is we will use a floor texture that he has provided. I mentioned the link in the description so you can download this complete project file, and also you can check out his tutorials. Everything is mentioned in the description. So now in order to create the reflection, the first thing that I'm going to do is select both of these layers, hit Control D to duplicate it, bring them below. I can change the color of this layer to something like blue so we know that it's a different layer. And I'm going to make this, I'm going to hit F4 first of all, make them 3D, hit Control Shift C to pre-compose them, call this ref for reflection, hit OK. and also make this 3D and then rotate this. I can hit R and let's rotate it into Y axis like so. And let's bring that below like so. Obviously I'm gonna make that, bring that up a little bit. Let's push, let's hit P and push this up a little bit. So something like that is looking good. Now we can create a new camera. I'm gonna go with 35. Actually, let's go with 50 millimeter preset, and let's go and turn on the depth of a field. I'm gonna increase the aperture to around 500 and increase the blur amount to 250, so we get this really nice depth, as you can see. But still, it's not looking like a complete flow, right? Here I have a flow texture from the same tutorial from Andrew Kramer. I have mentioned the link in the description below if you want to check it out. So I'm gonna drag and drop this floor just like that. Make this 3D and hit R. Select this, hit R, and let's rotate this. I'm gonna place this one like something like that, and hit P. Let's position this accordingly the way I want. All right, and let's just rotate this a little bit. Hit P again, and I'm gonna position this into the Z space like so. All right. Then I'm going to select this, hit Control Shift C, move all attributes, call this a floor. I'm going to hit OK. Turn on the collapse transformation. This is very important. We can hide this actually. And then what I'm going to do is create a new adjustment layer. Call this a blur. Put this layer on top of the reflection composition that we have. So I'm going to go right here. Select the blur adjustment layer, going to go into effects and preset and search for compound blur. Double click, and now here in the blur layer, let's set this one to floor. So now right off the bat, if I just zoom in, you can see we get this really nice reflection. I can increase this to get a very subtle look. So if you want to keep it really nice, and boom, there we have the reflection. So now if I preview this, you can see we get this really nice floor reflection, which looks pretty nice. And then finally, I can select my text tool and then type in any text that I want. So let's say, for example, I type in design is complex. All right, and let's animate this. I'm gonna first of all add some style to this. So I'm gonna change this to a different weight, and let's animate this. So to animate this pretty quickly, I'm gonna add an animation of position and add a property of opacity. Let's set the position down to around 80. Set the opacity to 0. I'll go to around right here. Okay, go into the range selector, set the offset to 100%, create a keyframe, go back, set this to -100, go into advanced, set the shape to ramp up, set the ease high to 30% and ease low to 100%, and then change the based on characters to words, and maybe I'll increase this a bit more. So move this forward and let's see. It's a bit too fast, so I'm gonna increase the timing. Move this keyframe a little bit, and now we have our text. So now let's preview the complete animation. And as you can see, very easy to create, looks pretty awesome. Now you can use the same technique and you can play around with the saber preset. For example, I can go right here. I can select from number of different presets that they have. Like maybe I set this to hot, or I don't know, fog, or maybe something like a fuel. There are so many different presets to play around with. Solar looks pretty awesome as well. So I can go right here. Let's set this to solar, and also make sure you go into your other layers, that is the reflection layer, and set this to solar as well. You can also set this to pulse. That is pretty interesting as well. And boom, there we have a completely different look, which looks pretty awesome. You can again use this for a logo animation maybe, and play around with this technique and create your own cool stuff. So that is a wrap for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, make sure to do let me know in the comments section below. And if you're watching my video for the very first time, hit that subscribe button and press that bell icon so you always get notified whenever I post a new video. With that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care and always stay raw, stay creative. Peace out.